And welcome into the Backstage Pass here, of course. Hump Day, Wednesday. Hard to believe the week is almost, over. As I was said about Easter. Easter came and gone, and definitely some great shows planned this week. Don't forget tomorrow coming up, Grand Ole Opry Royalty. Miss Jeannie Seeley is going to stop by tomorrow. And, of course, next couple of weeks, pleased to announce, talk to him today. Excited to do the program. Country superstar Neil McCoy is coming here on the Backstage Pass here in about 2 or 3 weeks. We'll catch up with him. And, man, I'm excited to go back to a live show. April 24th will be at Whitewater Amphitheater in New Braunfels, Texas, for Randall King and Josh Ward out there to enjoy a great night of country music. Of course, we're presented by our good friends over at Toir Guitars. Check them out, tourguitars.us, and also Bangtail Whiskey, bangtail.com, and download the Easy Liquor app out there. And then guess what? You can stay home and get the bottle sent directly to your door there with Bangtail Whiskey. Well, I'll tell you what, this lady here is a Gilbert, Arizona native, and I love her music and became an instant fan when I heard all the great songs she has out there. Jennifer Smestad joins us here on the program. What's going on?
Hey, guys. Thanks so much for having me, Brandon.
Pleased to have you here, too. And I guess let's start there because Gilbert, Arizona, which we were talking a little bit before the show, just outside of Phoenix, and leaving there and having this dream to become a singer and going to Nashville, and seems like it's worked out pretty well for you, I'd say. I love that too. And just kind of take me back a little bit. I guess the love of music from a young age and the connection, and I guess when it went from a hobby to pursuing the dream.
Yeah, and it's still a hobby too. People are like, "What do you do for fun?" I'm like, "Music." "What do you do for work?" "Music." I mean, I've been singing since I could talk. Like, I've been singing since 3 years old. My mom enrolled my sister and myself into a singing and dancing group. And literally since then, I just thought I was this huge like superstar in my own home, singing to my parents, and would just sing all the time. I'd sing when I'm reading books, when I'm doing homework, and my family's like, "I hope you get paid for this one day because you're driving us nuts." So I've been singing forever. And then I really didn't start publicly singing aside from when I was like 3 years old until maybe 17 or 18, my ending years of high school. I was very shy all throughout school. So I was terrified to sing in front of anybody. And then moved to Nashville about 4.5 years ago, did the Miss America pageant as Miss Arizona right before that. So I started singing a lot just around Arizona. I was basically like the state's national anthem singer. I sang at all the baseball games and some of the basketball games, some random community events and all that stuff, and was in a cover band, sang worship at my church. And then really jumped into, when I moved to Nashville, like the songwriting portion of music too. And of course, still perform at writers' rounds and all that fun stuff. But I'm still like my 3-year-old dreamer in my 28-year-old body. So like I really haven't stopped dreaming since I had this dream in the first place.
Tell me about that self-titled EP, early 2018 when it came out. You guys putting some good music there, kind of the first crack at the EP type thing. And people say, we're always kind of picky, choosy about what's the right songs to put out, what's kind of the feel of the audience feedback and what's personal to us. How that project went, and kind of highlight some of the main, I guess, of the project from that early EP in 18.
Yeah, I wanted music out. I moved to Nashville at the end of 2016, so I was here about a year and a half before I started recording, which I'm glad. The first 3 songs I wrote in Nashville, I'm like, these are the best songs ever. I have to record them. And some people advised me, like, I would wait a little bit and keep writing, find out who you are as an artist and a writer, which was a great choice because those first 3 songs I wrote were not the best songs. So then I wrote for about a year and a half, and then at that time I picked What You Getting Into, needing somebody in the magic to record for my first project. And it was the coolest experience going to a studio and playing with a live band there. And it was just nothing I've ever done before. I've recorded in little home studios, but I've never done the Nashville live band recording thing. And it was so much fun. That's a great first project. I've had little projects before that I've taken down, but that was my first major project, and it was a lot of fun. I definitely have grown since then as well, and it's just fun that every project you do, you evolve as an artist.
I know from a sports standpoint, you've done some national anthem performances at several sporting events. Is that always just nerve-wracking? A lot of artists say it is.
When I haven't done it for a while, I get a little nervous again, but I was doing it once, twice, 3, even 4 times a week. So I was so used to it. And I love singing the anthem. I know a lot of people don't, but that's kind of where I started. So I don't know. It always feels like home to me. But there's one time that I had my in-ears in, and it was my first time ever wearing them. So I didn't know how to use them. And I didn't turn the sound pack on. So I heard the 3-second delay, and I thought I was off on the lyrics, and I was freaking out. I'm like, oh my gosh. Somehow I made it through, but it's scary if something like that happens, for sure.
Well, I tell you, I love the music out there. We're going to talk a lot about the songs today, no doubt about it, which is just great there. And the current single, Can't Have Mine, which March 26th, it came out. And, of course, Half the Man, which, boy, if you hadn't heard it, I know Don's tuning in. One of my good listeners out there loves about the program is discovering new artists. And, Don, that's why I started this 2 years ago. So definitely put Jennifer Smestad on the list out there and get the music across the digital platforms. Let's start with a little performance here. Let's talk some music and have you play and hear those beautiful country tones that you possess. So.
Yeah, let's do it. I'll actually Can't Have Mine.
All right, let's do that one. All right, it's all yours, Jennifer.
Let's do it. I have my guitar player here, so I'll play my air guitar.
Hoping this time it's different, some things just don't change. What if I leave? What if I don't? What if you see when I'm already gone? What if I'm all over your mind and you let me walk away? I can't believe I let you string me along like that, making me wait on you that we both know never have. You can't take one step forward and 16 back. Have my heart and treat it like that. You took your time. Now you can't have mine. The worst part of this is someone else is gonna line up right. Make it look so damn easy to hold you close at night. But what about me? What about us? What if I'm still in love? I can't believe I let you string me along like that, making me wait on you that we both know never have. You can't take one step forward and 16 back. Have my heart and treat it like that. You took your time. Now you can't have mine. It's your heart, your way, your time, your place. There was never any room for me. How dare you tell me not to leave? I can't believe I let you string me along like that. You're making me wait on you. We both know I'll never have. I can't believe I let you string me along like that. You're making me wait on you that we both know I'll never have. You can't take one step forward and 16 back. Have my heart and treat it like that. You took your time. Oh, now you can't have mine. Now you can't have mine.
The Bangtail pour is comprised of a sweet corn mash base. The front has a subtle sweetness and not too sharp. It has notes of a medium char or white oak for a smoky flavor in the middle, and the tail has a super smooth and warm finish.
Just like those vocals here on the Backstage Pass, that smooth and warm finish. And if you hadn't had a bottle of that, folks, you might want to get that on that Easy Liquor app out there. Bangtail, type in the word Bangtail Whiskey, and guarantee you your throat will feel a lot better. And thank you for pouring that down all the way through and drinking some good whiskey out there, too. As smooth as those tones are from Jennifer Smestad here on the Backstage Pass here, presented by Bangtail Whiskey and Toir Guitars. Love that single, and it's just a testament to everything else that you've done out there since you've been putting out these great singles. Let's kind of break down the story a little bit, Jennifer, and talk about the breakdown of that song and how special it is.
Yeah, Can't Have Mine is about being in a relationship with someone who doesn't value your time, the love, the energy, kind of everything that you put into that relationship. And you feel like you're either on the back burner, or they're just stringing you along. So I've definitely been through that before. So it was honestly easy to like put myself in that situation when we were writing the song and remember how I felt in the situations. And then my co-writers have been through that before. One of them, when we wrote this song, had sort of recently gone through that and brought in the idea. So I love the idea, and it's just such a strong, empowering thing to be able to say, you took your time, now you can't have mine. So when I did write it, I was like, this is such a sad, emotional song. And then after listening to the demo, I'm like, oh, it's actually pretty empowering too, which is really cool. I didn't even mean for that to happen, but I guess it's the perfect mix of emotional and empowering.
I love it too, because that is a beautiful music video, the official lyric video out there, which is Can't Have Mine. Y'all did a great job with that. Tell me the story and kind of the breakdown, where it was shot, and the thoughts you guys put into it for a very special piece of work for that song.
Yes, it was out kind of over by the John C. Toon Airport in that area, just in a field. And I love that video. We got the vibe off of Yellow Coldplay. So Coldplay's Yellow music video,
Okay.
is like that slow motion. Russell Dickerson did it too. So we kind of wanted that like slow motion vibe, more of the clouds. It worked out perfectly that it was a cloudy day and it wasn't raining. It was freezing though. I'm being from Arizona, especially the Phoenix area, I'm like all about the heat. So I was so cold, but it was a lot of fun. I loved the idea of that video, and just, I don't know, I feel like everything from the clouds to the coloring and everything just like fit the mood of the song.
That's a beautiful, beautiful video out there. If you hadn't seen it, go check it out. There was another one that caught my attention. What You Getting Into, an acoustic single that you did. I dig here on the show, Jen. We dig a lot for homework here on the show, which is great. That's how much I love your music. Let's get the rundown on that one, because I thought just another beautiful performance. If people haven't heard it, wherever you stream, go get it.
Yeah, I wrote What You Getting Into with some good friends, Stephen Hunley and Ben Stahl, and wrote that one probably close to 4 years ago. And that one's just about either you're about to break up with someone, or you're just going through a breakup and you're wondering what that person's doing, and you're like, hey, this person didn't treat me that well anyway. I bet they're out at a bar getting drunk. I bet they're with somebody new. You know, it's just all the questions that you ask yourself when you just recently got out of a relationship. Like you basically kill yourself with those questions, with the whys, with the what is he doing? And so that song kind of just explains all of your thoughts.
Mm-hmm. Tell me about, we were talking a little bit before the show too. You've done a lot of the pageantry, the Miss America competition, Atlantic City, and Miss Arizona 2013. Going in front of the stages, and I guess it's how I kind of felt when I started doing radio like 15 years ago. It was like, turn on the mic and, okay, I'm speaking to several thousands of people now per hour, and I got to get in the comfort zone of doing these interviews. And then you interview all these artists and you finally get that. But you're not a stranger to answering questions, and you've been in front of those big pageantry events. And so no question is strange, but how did that kind of help you? I'm sure stage fright is not a problem right now, right?
I mean, currently, no. I actually love these kind of conversations. So I thrive in interviews. I love them. It's just so fun to, I don't know. It's so fun to be able to talk with someone one-on-one about music, about you, about me, whatever it may be. So I love that. But I was scared to death. Like I said, I was so shy all throughout school. I had severe social anxiety. So
Mhm.
I promised myself I would never do anything public speaking. Then my friend competed for Miss Arizona 2 years before I did, and she won. So I went to go watch her at Miss America just to support her as a friend. I had never competed in a pageant in my life before then. And then on the way back from Miss America, I'm like, this is so weird, but I think I want to try this. So she helped me get involved, and I can't explain it, but I've always had this interesting determination in me that if I want something, I set my mind to it and I figure out how to get it.
Mhm.
So that was one of those things. I'm like, well, my biggest fear is public speaking, and that's pretty much what Miss Arizona is. So I enrolled in a public speaking class in college that I promised myself I would never do. And I was just terrified of that class, but I knew I
Mhm.
would get better at it and more comfortable at it the more I did it. And it ended up being one of my favorite college classes. So I don't know. I'm still not the most comfortable
Mhm.
speaking. Like, it's not the most comfortable thing in the world, but I don't know. I always leave feeling like I did something huge, because it can scare me so much that I'm like, wow, I just conquered that. So even if it's not fun leading up to it, it's always just rewarding afterwards. So I don't know. It's once you're out of it for a while too, you have to practice it. You really have to practice it.
I still go to sleep at night and the interviews in my head. I'm like, did I ask the right question? Let's see. Or watch them back. I'm like, did I do
Oh
what I
yeah.
wanted to do at that particular time? And self-critique. It's just your own worst critic if you don't self-critique your shows, no doubt. Well, I tell you, man, this song was one of the first ones that caught my attention last year in 2020, and the millions of views out there. I'm not even going to try to throw out a number because I know it's still counting on YouTube and other places. If you haven't heard it, where have you been? Hidden under a rock, but it's a good song. It's a great song, I should say. Superior song. Half the Man. I think it's time we hear it, Jen, on the show here. We got to hear it.
Yeah. Well, yeah, we're definitely gonna play it. And I think my dad's actually watching, and if he's not, he'll watch it.
Cool.
So hi, Dad.
Okay. Well, hell. All right.
All right. Yes. Let's play Half the Man.
Here we go.
Growing up, there wasn't much my daddy couldn't fix. If it wouldn't work, he'd make the old look new again. The house, the fence, the bike, daddy is.
The Bangtail Pour is comprised of a sweet corn mash base. The front has a subtle sweetness and not too sharp. It has notes of a medium char or white oak for a smoky flavor in the middle, and the tail has a super smooth and warm finish.
Again, I'm actually going to go to a Jennifer Smestad show one day when I get my show up to Nashville, and yeah, it's a party. All invited to hear those type of 100% pure country vocals that, yeah, just there's second to none. You sound like yourself. You don't sound like anybody else. That was one thing that.
Well, hey, that's the greatest compliment.
I love it because so much I love the music out there. Again, check her out, jennifersmestad.com, and of course, get all the music out there wherever you buy and purchase everything. Let's round this one out, man. Great song, special. The meaning of it, like I said, gave me goosebumps the first time I heard it, and then it was like, well, I got to play it about 20 more times to get the understanding of it, which is just great. And that type of song you never turn off from a playlist. Leaving that impression, and I talked about this earlier, how you overcame social anxiety to eliminate stage fright, but getting in front of an audience and performing this one has to make you feel a lot of emotions going through your body, correct?
Yes. So here's something very interesting about this song. And I actually want to ask like a psychologist or something about this, because I'm sure there's something in the mind. I don't know. I'm sure there's something about it. But I have always been wrecked by father-daughter songs in general, and at weddings, like the father-daughter dance song, I had to leave the room. Like I was uncontrollably bawling my eyes out, just because of the bond that I have with my dad. I don't know. I just could not handle it. And so I've always wanted to write a song about my dad. And when I finally did, I have never cried at a father-daughter song since then. So it's almost like, I don't know. It's almost like I got out what I needed to say in this song. And this is just my dad. Every line in this song is about my dad. And I'm like, there's got to be something psychological with that. It's interesting how that happened.
Well, it definitely, when you saw the numbers start to kind of rise across all these different social media platforms, the YouTube and the millions of views, and this thing go up, what was your first thought? Did you kind of felt like you had something special when, I mean, it's a piece of artwork is what it feels like. You have a special song. Yeah,
I knew I loved this song, and it was even just for myself. I knew other people would relate to it and like it as well, but I did not expect the result that we got. I was just like, I want to put this out for me because this is me as an artist. This is so true to who I am. And when I uploaded it online, specifically TikTok, I didn't know what I was doing. Like I pretty much did everything wrong. I did everything you should do to not make a song go viral. It went viral. So I'm like, hey, it's such a God thing. And people were really relating to the message. And that's the coolest feeling as an artist. That's exactly what we want our music to do.
Yeah, I think what reason to hit me so hard is last year we had a little baby girl during the pandemic, my wife and I. So now she just turned 1 and we're just over a year into this thing now. So that was weird times. It was in the hospital. She ended up in the ICU after birth, and it just kind of, nothing was crazy. Just it was like fluid in the lungs and kind of the typical thing there when you're going through the procedure of a C-section, that kind of thing. But I will say this, man, the bond they say between a dad and a daughter, I don't know, guys don't feel it maybe the first 2 or 3 months, but man, when she hit about 7 or 8, it was different for me as a dad. And now after turning 1, it's like a whole new, just a cool thing. And I guess because they're so little, they don't understand anything, of course, the first 6 months, but man, you hit month 7, 8, 9, the cognitive process picks up, the awareness, everything else. And it hit me so hard because I was there with her in the hospital from day 1. And maybe I can be that kind of half the man that I don't know. It hit me hard. And as she gets older, it's going to continue to make me cry and give me the chill bumps. It is.
Well, thank you so much. I've always said that there's nothing like a father-daughter bond, even from like the daughter's perspective. So it's equally as strong.
I'm going to send you a picture. We just took an Easter picture of her. She just turned 1 on Friday of last week. So definitely we're into the 13, 14, 15 months coming up now, and can't wait to get to. Speaking of Arizona, I was telling Jen before the show, we're going to get out there in July, at the end of July, and I'm going to have a nice just vacation, just in Phoenix and Scottsdale to enjoy the summertime out there in the hotness. So it's going to be hot in the triple digits. Hey, I know you talked earlier in the show about overcoming several things at the age of 10, young age, the social anxiety and things like that. But now, you're having the opportunity to talk about your experience and kind of give back to touch the lives of so many of the other people who've kind of struggled with the same challenge. Talk about that and how you overcame it, and not just social anxiety, but some other things out there that you're also touching the lives of other people.
Yeah, at 10 years old, I was diagnosed with social anxiety, Tourette syndrome, and obsessive compulsive disorder, all very severe. There's no cure to any of those, unfortunately, but you can do things to help it. And I did natural Chinese acupuncture after trying a bunch of prescription pills, after trying counseling. At the time, we didn't know much about it, and we were even looking up brain surgery. Like, there were some documentaries on that, which so glad we didn't do that. And science has come such a long way in the past 20 years. But yeah, I mean, I ended up trying natural Chinese acupuncture. Honestly, didn't think it would help at all. Mm-hmm. But it was like, you know what? I'm willing to try anything at this point. And I'm deathly afraid of needles too. So it really helped. And I don't know what it is. It's just like between the Chinese herbs and the Chinese acupuncture, it really changed my life and helped me. And then, of course, there's just the aftermath of everything too. I mean, right now, nothing is, I'm not like, hey, I went through this and I don't still go through it. I still struggle with some things, OCD, some things, anxiety and all of that. So it's just, I'm a huge fan of therapy. I think everybody should be in therapy. Everyone should have someone to talk to, specifically someone professional. Just different ways of learning how to deal with your stress or your anxiety or whatever it is. Like that, I like to drink tea, and for some reason it calms me down. There's a lot of things that you can do. Honestly, when I get so stressed out, this is what my counselor recommended. She's like, why don't you just throw socks? I'm like, you're not hurting anyone. I'm like, it's fun. I can get some anger out. So I'm a huge fan of just making sure you're healthy physically, mentally, emotionally. Like that, whatever you have to do, go on walks. I love walks. I always do that to clear your head. Get off social media for a while. Like I'm just a huge fan of just health, everything health. I'm just working on it constantly to this day.
Well, we're going to have a more in-depth conversation because one of the things I do struggle with is anxiety too. That's why we get along so well, or we were talking a little bit before the show. So I'm going to talk about some of those remedies that we could soak up and do for myself, because that's one of the biggest things to keep the sanity and the physical, the emotional, the mental part of what we do here is a grind every day on the Backstage Pass, and how to balance this and the day job, and of course taking care of a 1-year-old. So I got more in-depth questions to ask you about that off the air, if you don't mind. We're gonna definitely talk about that. A couple of other songs, and I love it, and I've got everything on the playlist, and I've got to talk about 19. Find Me Here. Definitely want to get the lowdown on that one too, and then of course one that last year you did up until now. Can't even describe the emotions I was going through with both of those songs. Very, very special out there for country music. I guess let's break down those two, then we can play one here on the show.
Yeah, so Find Me Here is a very emotional song. So my sister went through a few miscarriages. She's miscarried 4 times and 2 sets of twins, so 6 babies total. And after she miscarried her first set of twins, I've never been through anything like this with a friend, a family member, or anything. So I never knew how serious and just so painful miscarriages are. And I knew I had to write about it because I'm like, how else can I get this out? Like, I know I have to do something with this, but I was so scared. I'm like, I don't want to face these emotions. I don't want to be crying for 3 hours during a writing session. So it really took me about 7 months until I was brave enough to start writing this song. And it took a special person and co-writer to be able to write that song with me. And Robert Ricotta is the co-writer on it, who is now my boyfriend. Basically my boyfriend after that, right? But it's a very special song, and this was totally unplanned, but we wrote it a few days before Mother's Day, and then quickly got the demo recorded so I could send it to my sister as a Mother's Day gift. And she was wrecked. Her husband was wrecked. I was wrecked. My co-writer was wrecked. It was just, it's hard. That one's hard for me to listen to now. I rarely listen to it just because it brings back so many emotions. And then the music video to it was just such a beautiful thing because we got real people's stories in the video. So everything you see in the video is a real story.
Wow, amazing. And I tell you, the other one I talked about there up until now is another fantastic song here. Let's do one final one here on the show today. I definitely want to hear another one. And
yeah, I'm actually going to do one that is not released yet, and I hope to release this one soon, but it's a newer one. I actually wrote it during quarantine. So last April in Arizona, when I was in Arizona for a couple of months.
Okay.
With Robert Ricardo, who wrote Find Me Here With Me. It's called Waiting On.
Okay, here we go.
Can I get a rewind? Do it again, try to forget that nothing ever turned out right. Turned out right. It feels like a lifetime. Showing scars and then in my heart. Funny how you compromise. 'Cause I've been waiting on, waiting on, waiting on. More than a feeling, I've been holding on, holding on, holding on. Till I could mean it. And now that you got my attention, I gotta make a confession. You've had me thinking on, praying on, saying I do. Waiting on, waiting on, waiting on you. Baby, you're electric. The spark in your eyes started a fire, and even back then I knew it was you. I swore I wouldn't do this, but I'll go first. Say those 3 little words, hoping you will too. You will too. 'Cause I've been waiting on, waiting on, waiting on. More than a feeling, I've been holding on, holding on, holding on. Till I could mean it. And now that you got my attention, I gotta make a confession. You've had me thinking on, praying on, saying I do. Waiting on, waiting on, waiting on. I don't know it all, but all I know is I don't wanna waste another moment. If it ain't you, then I don't want it. I've been waiting on. I've been waiting on. I've been waiting on, waiting on, waiting on. More than a feeling, I've been holding on, holding on, holding on. Till I could mean it. And now that you got my attention, I gotta make a confession. You've had me thinking on, praying on, saying I do. Waiting on, waiting on, waiting on you. Waiting on you.
The Bangtail pour is comprised of a sweet corn mash base. The front has a subtle sweetness and not too sharp. It has notes of a medium char or white oak for a smoky flavor in the middle, and the tail has a super smooth and warm finish.
And when that one comes out, I'm going to put that on the Brandon Morrell playlist here on the Backstage Pass. So whatever she sings, it's going to go on my playlist. That's how it works. Jennifer Smestad back here on the show, presented by Toir Guitars and Bangtail Whiskey. Beautiful songs, beautiful performance. Loved everything. That's why we had to have you here on the Backstage Pass, no doubt about it. Well, I got to jump into a little rapid fire and could have a whole concert series and go an entire hour with you today, but that's the beauty of having you back on the show next time to do some things here and sing some more. Keep us wanting more, salivating for more out there too. All right, so after this, we know the last year's been crazy for everybody. What if you are an avid TV watcher? Some people say we don't watch it at all, but if you do, what kind of series do you get into? What is your binge watching show choice for the shows out there?
I have been watching This Is Us.
Okay.
I really don't watch that much TV, but This Is Us is like definitely a guilty pleasure. It's such a good show, and I catch myself too learning life lessons every episode. So I'm like, this is good for me. I love Friends too. I've always liked Friends.
Can't go wrong with Friends, no doubt. That's the American classic. It's still played. They get paid a lot of money for those reruns on TBS, no doubt, which is for many years to go. All right, what's your go-to food when you're kind of having one of those moods or a day, or you need, I don't know, salt or you need sugar? What do you go to? What's your thing out there?
Usually pizza.
Yes, girl, we gotta talk more. Let's see.
Yeah. New York style, crispy on the bottom. Oh, so good.
Now, if you're ordering one just for yourself and I can't have a slice, so what goes on it?
Pepperoni. I didn't eat meat for a long time, but I've always loved pepperoni. So it's still my favorite. I just love the flavor of it.
So you can't have pizza without pepperoni. We've had some, I think one last week somebody said they had anchovies or something. I was like, no, that's all yours. I can't touch it. And then the pineapple, I'm just not a pineapple fan on pizza.
I'm not either. My dad gets the Canadian bacon and pineapple, but I don't like it.
Canadian bacon for a carnivore, but not the pineapple is just not a place for pizza. Not at least for me, though.
I agree. I don't like it.
All right, you'll love this one, too. Is there a vacation when all this is over, kind of a bucket list spot? You're like, man, I got to go here in the next 5-6 years when these borders open back up, or maybe it's just a beach or somewhere you want to go. Where's the dream bucket list vacation?
I want to go to Italy. I've traveled. I've traveled to a lot of places. My dad's a pilot, so I've kind of gotten to go a little bit around the world. But Italy, I was supposed to go to with my mom in 2020, so that didn't happen. So I would still love to go to Italy. Okay,
it's one of my favorite places. Got to go tour and see Europe over there and some family in Germany. On my wife's side, we got to go see some good things over there in the sights, and of course Paris. And that's something I hope to do in the next 10 years. Take the daughter; she'll enjoy it.
Yes.
Too at the same time, no doubt too. All right, love this one too. We pull it out of the bag from time to time. Do you kind of remember the title of the first song you ever wrote or what it was about?
Yes, I was singing it the other day. Oh, it's so embarrassing. I thought it was going to be the biggest Disney Channel hit. I think I wrote it when I was like 8 years old.
Okay.
It was called Distracting Me, or It Distracted Me. It's like, it doesn't even make sense. I don't even know what it's about. It's like, walking down the street the other day. It's just about like some guy at 8 years old, some guy catches your attention. You're like, you distracted me. Mm-hmm. It's so stupid. It's so funny. I really want to record some of my like 10-year-old songs one day just to see how they turn out like that. Oh my gosh. It would be hilarious.
All right. Love this one here for rapid fire. Favorite movie of all time. What you got?
I love a lot of sports movies. So I like Miracle that I actually just recently watched with my dad. I love The Sandlot, pretty much all the baseball movies I love. I also love Grease, just a good musical.
Great musical there. And I'm going to throw one out there too, and I'm sure you love it too. Speaking of sports movies, my favorite of all time, Remember the Titans. You gotta love Denzel and playing Coach Boone, one of the best out there for Disney. She's one of the best in country music, rising star, no doubt about it. Love her stuff. Can't Have Mine is the latest single. You cannot have her pizza. It's just for her, for pepperoni only.
Sure. You can't have mine.
JenniferSmestad.com. Jen, so glad we could put this together and get it on the books, and looking forward to many more great visits here on the Backstage Pass. Appreciate you being on.
Let's do it. Thank you so much.
You got it. JenniferSmestad.com, and Can't Have Mine is the latest single out there. And of course, up until now, Find Me Here and Half the Man. Go get all the music out there. Jack Williams coming up here on the show. And here in a couple of weeks, Neil McCoy on the Backstage Pass. And thanks to Toir Guitars and Bangtail Whiskey. We'll talk to you guys here in just a few with Nashville recording artist Jack Williams here on the show. Stay tuned for more.